lying, bamboozling even. Narrated by Jesse Levine. Good evening, everyone. This is your host, Jess, and this topic is very special to me, and I wanted to talk about this for quite a long time, actually. Do you need to have actually played a game to review it? And I think to myself at night when I look back into the great beyond of like my day and how it went, and I think, yes, you can. Why can you review a game that you haven't put any time into, And this is a very difficult question for a lot of people because you're like, you should probably play the game and have a great opinion on it or some crap like that, or at least play the game in the first place, They're like, at least you can say it's like you can put your thoughts in on it having played the game. But I think that's stupid. Why do I need to play the game to review it? Because like, imagine, say it's like this. You have a couple of friends, right? And they're all sitting around at a table, right? And you're just like talking about a game that no one's played. And you just start saying a bunch of stuff. And they're like, oh, did you actually play the game? And then you go, no. And then they look at you like they've been paying attention to you the whole time, like you're a trusted figure. And you just see like just pulled out how disgruntled they all are with you. They're like, how could you say this to me? And it's just like, well, I lied. I found it funny. And I saw a bunch of videos on the internet and I absorbed some of their opinions. It's like I added a little bit of like a sprinkle of spice onto there, And it made out an entertaining couple of moments. And did you believe it? And did that really add to it? Yes. But it was in that moment that you believed me for a second, that you really were enjoying your time thinking, wow, I can't believe this is all real. And now that you know it's not real, does it really take away that fun that you had knowing that I made stuff up about a game I haven't even played? And I disagree to that notion that it takes away all the fun. While yes, you feel like you've been stabbed in the back by me doing a bamboozling, you think to yourself, how can I ever trust you again on things like this? How do I know that you'll be honest about games that you haven't actually played about and just be like, I haven't actually played that, I will reserve my opinion on it. And yeah, you can't trust me at all. I'm 100% completely untrustworthy. I'm going to keep doing it again and again because, sometimes it's just really funny, just kind of seeing it's like, man, I just make stuff up, and it's just funny, like it's funny to do a bamboozling, and sometimes, but like this isn't also like actually publishing a review, this is like around like a group of friends, and you're like, oh man, people are always wanting to like know about more games to play or something like that. And, you're like one of the people that they need a recommendation from because it's like, besides like a YouTuber, you're the other most influential figure in their life. Also their parents probably or something along those lines and their dog. But you understand the idea. You are a source of authority and, no matter what, they will keep coming back to you, even if you keep going, oh, it's me, John lying about games and stuff and whatnot. As long as you actually play video games and try to be a little consistent, you'll have to do a coin flip, And, it's the funny part because a lot of people, they won't do a coin flip. They'll be like, oh, really? And then you're like, no, I haven't played the game. And then they'll be like, oh, frowny face. But at the end of the day, what matters is that they believed you for the moment. And the thing is, actually, where was I even going with this? I had like a point to make at some point, and then I don't know. Now I'm just kind of saying it was funny. It's something. Oh, I was saying it's morally justified. I was like, you're not publishing any of this information. That's like one of the big things. You're an authority figure in the friend group, but like you're not publishing this information live. Unless you're me. I made like the Black Ops 7 video as a podcast. Actually, that's all accurate information. I don't think any of that is actually mis or disinformation for any sake. I've actually played a lot of time in Black Ops 7, just so you know. I have a very extensive background in it and know exactly where each of those rare cutscenes are to really develop that story that you don't really get to see in the main game. But if we're talking about actually publishing information in like YouTube and stuff and whatnot, I think there's like a degree where you need to indicate that it's somewhat of a joke, because I think if you just take it absolutely seriously with like your bamboozling, your hoo ha ha ha, that's a little deceptive to a degree. Being deceptive towards your friends about video games, now that's funny, because that's like an interpersonal group thing. It's like, ah ha 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 ha. You know, one of those things. But like to random people on the internet, you know, maybe that's a little mean. Maybe that's not the nicest thing you could do. Maybe you could probably use it as more of a practice for your comedy skills rather than like actually publishing it as legitimate information. But then again, there is the secondary caveat to this to where, you know, maybe people need to recognize that you are doing a bamboozle about it, because people who actually play this game will be like, wait a second, this never happened in the game before. And so then they'll be like, oh, I see, this is a jest, a joke, one of those things. But then there will be people where the joke completely flies right over your head, and you know, like, I mean, you can't really do much about that. I mean, that's simply just the case. I mean, actually, well, funny thing, I made a video a while back with like TF2's bot thing. I queued into a bot lobby and some people were like, what? I was like, you know, you queued into a bot. Anyways, I was saying, anyways, you know, you queued into a bot lobby. That was the joke. That was just the joke. That was, you got the joke. But you didn't get the joke. That was the joke. But point being is, you know, maybe sometimes even when you make it as like jokeable as possible, some people won't get it. So is it really that unjustified just to like not try like making it very jokingly and just being like, eh, man, I wonder if they'll know whether I played the game or not? You know, I think there's like a moral question to be asked about that. But in my honest opinion, I think, you know, the internet is full of lies, bamboozles, deceits, and you know, video game information being bamboozling, deceitful, but also just about like, oh man, whether or not you should play the game. I don't think it's that bad unless it's just like really egregious, you know? But I think it's like, that's more of like a scale of things. Like, what is it? Saying like Hades 2, but it actually follows the Greek myths, and it's like, oh. Oh, good. Oh, no. Oh. Calm down there, Zeus. Yeah, in Zeus, how may I say, Zagreus and Melinoe are, or in God of War, where, like, Loki is like Loki is the horse. Loki's the horse. Yeah. But I mean, stuff like that, I mean, that's pretty, like, blatantly obvious that that's, like, a silly Billy, oh, ha, ha, hoo, hee, oh, sort of thing, you know? I don't think that's too unreasonable to be like, oh, people won't really get the joke. Or even, like, subtler jokes, like, things like that. But if we're talking, like, let's say, like, you're playing Black Ops 7, and then suddenly, what is it? Who's a character from Black Ops 7? Suddenly, Reznov pulls out a gumball machine, eats a gumball, and then suddenly starts punching zombies in the zombies game mode. I mean, would you consider that a bamboozle? Or would you consider that, you know, you were being a bit too honest there? In my honest opinion, I don't think that's too unreasonable of a thing to believe, you know? Because I saw in Black Ops 7, you know, you could be like, Victor Reznov, I'm eating the gumball. But you might be wondering, who is actually Victor Reznov? And no, that was the part that I made up. There is no Victor Reznov. That was the bamboozle. The gumball machine and like Reznov like punching like zombies, you know, that was true. But also, that was also a lie as well. You know, Victor Reznov is not from Black Ops 7, but he's actually from the other games of the Black Ops. This is actually, you want to know who it is? It's Raul Menendez with the gumball machine. You see, that was you just been bamboozled there, you know? And now that you bamboozled, I want you to take this video with you and really think about it. Do you accept information from videos like this and you're just like, wow, I can't believe I've gotten bamboozled, you know? This was a bit of a social experiment that I wanted to run. And you know, thank you. Thank you for letting me run my test, you know. I just really wanted to see how you would all react to this information that I'm pulling out of my ass, you know. And now that you've seen me as the bamboozler, liar, manipulator that I am, that I've done with this, what are you gonna do with this information now? And with that being said, I hope you have a good, but it's not Christmas yet. Why the hell is it not Christmas?